Now, two. Say to the righteous, it shall be well. It shall be well, and it is well. He is the refuge and a strong tower. They shall eat the good of the land when the time is surely right. The Lord will never put his own to shame.
For they that trust in the Lord, they will never be afraid. He is the refuge and a strong tower. They shall eat the good of the land when the time is surely right. The Lord will never put his own to shame.
Say to the righteous, it is well with him.
It is well with you.
It is well. Say to the righteous, it is well with him.
I should tell you
no matter what you're going through,
with you.
It is well. Say to the righteous, it is well with him. No matter what you're going through, it is well. Say to the righteous, it is well. No matter what you're going through, it is well. Look, with men it seems impossible, but with God all things are possible. And she catch her training no say. A best in the year, so didn't want to run this way. I didn't know be ye.
Present your problems to the Lord. Whatever it is, he will answer you, yeah. Nothing impossible with God. It is possible with him. Say to yourself, it is well.
In your coming out,
It is well with you.
in your going
It
in,
is well with you. Never, never be afraid, yeah. In your going out, it is well with and in your coming in, it is well with the Lord knows everything, yes. Truly,
say to the righteous, say to the righteous, it is well with him. It is well. Now, two. Say to the righteous, it shall be well. It shall be well, and it is well. Say to the righteous, it is well with him. No matter what you're going through, it is well. Say to the righteous, it is well with him. No matter what you're going through, it is well. They that wait is surely right. The Lord will never put his own to shame.
For they that trust in the Lord, they will never be afraid. He's the refuge and a strong tower. They shall eat the good of the land when the time is surely right. The Lord will never put his own to shame.
Say to the righteous, it is well with him.
It is well with you.
No matter what you're going through, it is well. Say to the righteous, it is well with him.
I should tell you
No matter what you're going through,
with you.
it is well. Say to the righteous, it is well with him. No matter what you're going through, it is well. Say to the righteous, it is well. No matter what you're going through, it is well. Look, with men it seems impossible, but with God all things are possible. And she catch her out in no say, a best in the year, so didn't want to run this way. I didn't know, yeah.
Present your problems to the Lord. Whatever it is, He will answer you. Yeah, nothing impossible with God. It is possible with Him. Say to yourself, it is well.
In your coming out,
It is well with you.
in your going
It
in,
is well with you. Never, never be afraid. Yeah, in your going out, it is well with you. And in your coming in, it is well with you. The Lord knows everything. Yes, truly.
say to the righteous, say to the righteous, it is well with him. It is well. No matter what you're going through, it is
No matter
well.
the situation,
Say to the righteous,
say to the righteous.
it is well with him. No matter what you're going through, yeah, it is well.
Don't you ever
Say
be
to the
afraid.
righteous,
Don't you ever
it is
stumble
well
and
with
fall.
him.
It is
No
well.
matter what you're going through,
It is well.
it is well. Say to the righteous,
Say to the
it is
righteous.
well with
Good evening, lovely viewers out there. I sincerely apologize for the technical hitch. We've been trying everything, backstage, and it is what it is. But I sincerely apologize for this issue. Sometimes you plan, but things don't go according to the way that you actually want it to be. So, to my friends and also to my lovely, viewers who've been waiting, up till now, I render my sincere apology. Yeah, the world of looking for a job can be so daunting and very, very frustrating, especially if actually had much luck in trying to secure an interview. So today, I have with me two beautiful women who have actually come together to put up this initiative, called UK Career Festival. And I would just urge each and everyone out there, let's share this interview, especially for those of you actually, just looking to graduate this year, and also to anyone out there that has been looking, for a job for a long time and hasn't been successful. Please tune in to this interview, and I hope that you learn something, out of this interview. So tonight I have with me Irene, Eribo-Ani, who is the CEO of Epoyun Ambassadors. And also I have with me Dr. Jenny William, who is also the CEO of Midpoint, Career Services here in the UK, and also she's also a law lecturer. So welcome to the show, Irene and Dr. Jenny.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, I sincerely apologize for the technical pitch. We were just trying to fix everything, and for some reason, it's things have not gone the way I initially planned. But thank you so much for your patience, and welcome to the Inside View. Thank you.
Thank you for
I'm
having
so
us.
blessed to have the likes of you, Irene, and also Dr. Jenny. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation to be a part of the show. Yeah.
Thank you, Nana, for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nana. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. We've seen UK Career Festival, and you are the brain or the brains behind this initiative. And before I start, I would like to commend you for putting up something like this, just to help the minority people, and also anyone that happens to look for a job and hasn't been successful. And I know that tonight you're going to educate us on what job fairs are all about. Before we start, Dr. Jenny, some of us, we don't know you. We just know that you're a law lecturer and also the CEO of the Midpoint Career Services here. And just for the sake of our viewers, who is Dr. Jenny? If you can just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you once again, Nana, for having me on the show. So I'm a law lecturer at Coventry University, Scarborough campus, and I'm also the CEO of Midpoint Coaching Service. So I came to the UK in 2008 as an international student, and I went through quite a lot of hurdles. I did a master's degree in law at the University of Buckingham, and then I moved on to do a PhD at the University of Huddersfield in corporate governance, that's business and management. And shortly after that, there were a couple of hitches. You know how it is with the job market. You're looking for a job, you're struggling here and there. So I really struggled. I put in so many applications. I'm not exaggerating, but I think I must have had at least 200, and that's the ones I was counting. So I just stopped counting.
Wow.
Yeah, 200 job rejections. So that's it. And I didn't really, when I was doing my PhD research, I was not really thinking about what was going to happen when I graduate, when I finish. I was just thinking, when I finish, I'll get a job, start living the UK life as an immigrant. But things just happened the other way around. And I found myself speaking to a friend. I had just by a chance meeting, I had the opportunity to speak to a career coach at the University of Huddersfield, and she said so many things. She was young. I think at the time I was in my early 30s, I remember. Yes, and this was a 20, very someone in her 20s speaking to me about so many things, and it really opened my eyes to what I need to be doing regarding my CVs, my cover letters, how I need to present myself in interviews, how your supporting statement is the first thing that matters, that recruiters are going to see, even if you have all the degrees and all the qualifications. So here was I with all the degrees, all the qualifications. I thought it was going to be magic, but she explained to me that that was not how it was going to work out. And that was how I got to even know what was a career coach or what was all that about. So I then went to work at the civil service, and I realized that I had transferable skills, but I really wanted to get back into academia, and I didn't give up. I kept applying, and I've found myself teaching business, started teaching financial accounting, management accounting. So I had to diversify until finally I got back into teaching law. So kind of more like I can teach across two schools as business and law. So that's just basically about me. And I decided to, during the pandemic, I started, speaking to people about how to get jobs, and people started saying that, oh, why don't you just become a career coach? And that was how Midpoint came into existence. So people were getting jobs, people were getting shortlisted for interviews, some people's business was sponsored, and then that is me. So I'm very passionate about changing lives through education, through training. I'm very passionate about widening participation, breaking all the barriers to education, especially specifically for ethnic minorities and international students. So that's just all I can say about me. Yeah. So thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. You know, you've said something briefly about, how Midpoint actually came about and everything, but, we still want to know, just more about you. What kind, the kind of family that you grew up in that has shaped the kind of person you are today. I mean, just for the sake of the young girl out there that wants to follow your footsteps. Yeah, please.
Okay, so I would say to a large extent, the family I grew up in. So both of my parents are professors in Nigeria. My mom is a professor of organic chemistry. My dad is a professor of education biology. So I grew up in a very family-friendly environment, university community. I went to the University Secondary School, International University of Ibadan, and then I did my university, my first degree in law at Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye in Nigeria, and then I went on to the Nigerian Law School. So to a large extent, most of the people that I worked with or I came into contact with when I was growing up, really shaped and modeled me. I had a lot of professors as my mentors who, made me just dream big. So at the age of 17, I started making plans. My plan actually was to move to the United States of America because most of my
No.
friends at the International University of Ibadan were either British or American, and I kind of saw the picture, how things were, how the world was moving, and I knew even at that young age. So I tried and tried, but things were not successful. So luckily I had a plan B. I did my JAMB exam, which is the matriculation exam in Nigeria. I passed it and I entered university. So, and then after that, I felt okay. After my first degree, I was definitely going to come to the UK. So to a large extent, I've always had people to push me. When I was growing up, I really felt it was too much pressure. But moving to the UK, I realized that it was really a blessing, because if I didn't have all those experiences of people pushing me, encouraging me, you can do this, do your master's, do your PhD. And I came across people that even have 2 PhDs, people that have 3 master's degrees. You'd be surprised, but that's the world we live in right now. So that's just basically the kind of family that I grew up in. So I'm very gentle. I'll say gentle for those that know me. I speak my mind. Irene can say more about me. She knows me well. But that's just basically it. Yes. So thank you, Nana.
Great. Let's move to Irene. Irene, our boss lady, the CEO of Ebony Ambassadors. If you can actually also tell us something small about yourself and something about Ebony Ambassadors, please.
Thank you, Nana. And thank you again for bringing me on your platform. My name is Irene Eribo-Ani. I'm the CEO and founder of Ebony Ambassador. Ebony Ambassadors is a community interest company that empowers people through skills acquisition. So basically, we get funding to run community events, from running summer craft classes and to running empowerment workshops for both the young and the old. And we're also known for our yearly event called the Miss Ebony Ambassador Creativity Competition, which we've done 7 years in a row. And to crown it all, I'll say I wear many hats. I'm a community champion, a women development specialist, an event planner, a project manager, a wife, a mother of 2 boys, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, thank you.
We understand. Don't worry. We understand. We understand. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, close it, please. Thank you. Sorry for the.
No, it's okay.
So, yeah, that's about me. Thank you, Nana, again. Over to you.
We do apologize for, when you have kids, anything can happen. So, we make room for that as well. Yeah. So don't worry, Irene. Yeah. The 2 of you have actually come together to bring this amazing thing out, that is meant to educate and also enlighten most of us. And, most importantly, to throw light on the way we should actually carry ourselves when we attend interviews, and also how we can ask relevant questions, or the important questions when we attend interviews, and also how we can push ourselves when we actually go for these job fairs. So today we just want to know, what is, before I delve into tonight's questions, what really motivated you? I know, Dr. Jenny has already said something, but for the two of you coming together, what really motivated you to bring this initiative? Any of you can go. Yeah, Dr. Jenny.
Okay.
No. I think I'll let Irene go for
Okay.
that
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very passionate about empowering others, and I
Yeah.
want to see others prosper.
Mhm.
And there's no way you could, should I say, get to the heights that you want to get to without having a mentor or without having someone to hold you by the hand to show you the way. As the saying goes, there's nothing new under the faces of the earth. And if you have a guide, you will do things better. And the fact that I don't want anyone to go through I would say the should I use the word, the level at which I went through to get to where I am today. There are
Sure.
different ways you can do things and you will get the same results. So why stress that much to do the same thing? What you can do at ease. So I think that's one of the reasons when Dr. Jenny approached me that we should do this, I actually jumped into the idea, or just I believe in what she wants to do, because I personally love to see people prosper, and I don't want anyone to stress that much to get where they want to get to. So personally, that is the reason why I joined Jenny in this career festival.
Okay. So, what is your target audience for this job fair or for this career festival thing?
As the career festival has different
Mhm.
aspects, so
Okay.
I will leave that to Dr. Jenny to
Okay.
answer.
That's fine.
But if you
That's
ask me,
fine.
I will say it cut across different persons, different level of life. But let me leave it to Dr. Jenny to throw more light, knowing
Okay.
that
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine. Before Dr. Jenny actually sheds more light on this, I'll come back to this one. But we just want to know what a job fair is all about, and also, the importance of a job fair. I've not forgotten about this question. We'll come back to this, but just for for anyone that is actually tuning, we are talking about job fair, and also, what these two amazing women are trying to put together. The first UK career festival of its kind. So we just want to, educate more people on it. So for tonight, what is a job fair, or what is a career festival? And also the
I will still
importance
pass
of
it
that.
to Jenny to answer.
Okay,
Sorry to
that's fine.
intrude. Over
Okay.
to
No,
you,
no, no, no.
Jenny.
Yeah. Dr. Jenny, yeah. I mean, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so basically, when we talk about career festival, it's an event whereby different, speakers, different organizations come together to explain, different processes about the career development process. How to get a job, what you need to be putting on your CVs, your cover letter, different opportunities available to you. So that's just basically what a career festival is all about. And it's also about networking and meeting people. So in terms of jobs in this country, in the United Kingdom, you need to connect with people, you need to meet people. So we're now in post-pandemic. So we need to get to that point whereby we stop. It's good to have online events, attend them and participate in them. You can engage in them. There are all sorts of education and digital technologies that you can use. But the face-to-face events whereby you speak to somebody, you get their contact details, you get them to become your mentor, you learn a lot from them. That networking lunch at these events, you miss them when you're just staring at the computer screen, because they can put you in the breakout rooms, but it's not the same as the face-to-face event. So that's just basically it. So most of when I was looking for a job then as a student, I used to go for all these events. So I used to take first I started staying in hotels, but by the time I ran out of money, I had to go back to the drawing board and think about what can I do. And I remember that there was something called Megabus. So I take Megabus in the morning and come back to West Yorkshire in the night. That was what I was doing. So I was meeting people, connecting with people. And in terms of most of the jobs that I've had in this country and in the UK, is from people saying, oh, there's this opportunity or there's this referral scheme. Are you interested? and all of that. Apart from the civil service position, I don't think within academia, most of the roles I've had have been through people helping me, supporting me, pushing me, and all of that. And all of those things, you get them at the career festival and this job fairs, specifically as an ethnic minority. You learn quite a lot of things from people. So maybe how to behave in the interviews, you get to know about the British culture, your mannerisms, not selling yourself short, and some of the things we'll talk about at the career festival was called imposter syndrome. I didn't realize that that was what I had at the time. So not feeling undervaluing myself, selling myself short, not believing in myself. Maybe when I'm speaking in the interview, looking down, not looking straight at the interviewer, eyeball to eyeball, getting in there and seeing that, okay, all the interviewers are white and I just freeze, making me feeling less than who I am. So some of all these things impacted me, because if you already have all those issues to do with self-esteem, there's no way you're going to be able to answer the question. So maybe, for example, the interviewer is fidgeting, because interviewers as well can also be nervous. Like one of my mentors told me, so interviewer is fidgeting, I would just think, oh, maybe I didn't do well, maybe I didn't answer the question, or maybe this happened, and the next thing I'm down, I'm not able to answer the questions, and the next thing the person doesn't get the job, or I didn't get the job. So those are the kind of things that you learn quite a lot of things. You learn from people's experiences. So basically, Anne and Irene have come together. She's somebody that has really, I've learned quite a lot from her, because she's been in the business. I've been in the education, but in terms of, running events, Irene is somebody that she's been there for over 10 years, and she's been doing good. So just imagine learning from the two of us coming together to put such an event together. You learn from all the mistakes we have made, and you shorten the time it will take you to reach to your destination, which is what this event is about. So you see most of the speakers, many of them are former international students like myself, who have navigated whether it's to start a business, have started a company, or to get that job. So that's just basically what job fairs are all about: meeting people, getting to know about businesses, getting to know about different parts of the job application process. Yeah. Thank you, Nana.
So for you, what has actually gone into the planning and also organizing, such a job career on this, massive scale? What has actually gone? Because I know it's just about next week, like next weekend. So what has actually gone into the planning and also organizing of this, fair? Irene.
Yeah, leave it to Irene.
Irene, please, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. It's because of my background, and sorry again to all our viewers. There's a lot of noise here. So in terms of what I've gone into this planning, a lot has gone into, be sincere, to looking for a suitable venue, to getting people to get the tickets, to getting the right speakers, which we can see in the flyer. These are people that have gone through, they are living their experience. Let me use.
We'll get back to you as soon as, okay. We sincere, okay. Irene, are you back? Are you okay to talk? I do apologize for the hitch today. I don't know, for some reason, how the network is just playing, it's just playing up, but I just hope it will be restored shortly. I do apologize for the technical hitch today. Yeah. Dr. Jenny, please, if you can continue from where Irene left.
Yes, yeah, sorry about the technical issues once again. Yes,
Yeah.
so like Irene was saying, this a lot has gone into it. We started planning this event last year, so it's not something we just started out of the blues.
Hmm.
Getting the speakers, getting the right speakers and all of that. So if you look at the flyer, you would see that we have people who've navigated Dr. Lucy Sonia, who is the CFO and co-founder, excuse me, please, of Transfer. And he was a former international student and economist also by profession. And we also have David Owumi. I think he's appeared on with Nana on the Inside
Yeah.
View.
Yeah.
He's a young lad of 30. Every time I see him, he's amazing. And I always wonder maybe if I had the knowledge that he had when I was 30, I probably would have gone far in terms of my career. So he's an amazing
Yeah.
person. He has, he's big in the startup world, and he's gotten so many awards. And he was one of the young leaders chosen to meet King Charles. And then we also have Chidi Akuna, who is a practicing solicitor. She has expertise in family law, immigration law, and maritime law and other areas of law. And she'll be providing specific answers to burden or issues regarding law, different legal questions, immigration issues, those that want to get a skilled work visa, the different routes, global talent visa, and all of that. And also for the law students, I'm aware some law students, quite a number of them got tickets, and they're going to be interested in how to move either through the bar, become a barrister in the United Kingdom, or become a solicitor. Should also be covering that as well. We also have someone that will be talking about Obin Okoye, that's going to be talking about the data science route. So he was a former international student, and he is going to be speaking about what he went through, how he was able to navigate the terrain of the job market and also get a sponsored role. Then we also have Ernest Ubukan, who has 2 master's degrees. He did one, I think, between 2012 and 2013, and then came back to the UK again in 2019 during the pandemic, and he did another master's degree, if I remember correctly, at University of Salford. He became a KTP associate. So the KTP associate, if you go to job.ac.uk, you see that there's quite a lot of roles coming up. So it's the university is partnering with different businesses, and the university is a sponsor. So when you get such a job, you get a skilled work visa. And then NS also recently got the global talent visa. So quite a lot of speakers that we have. We also have Irene, and then we also have myself as well. So it's just we've gone through quite a lot, but we're happy that it's just a few days away, next week, Saturday, and we hope that, and we know that every participant that comes in, because it's not just the people who are students, we also have people who have ideas for to become entrepreneurs, who will also be attending the event as well too, because you can either become an employee or become an employer, like Dr. Lucy Sonia and David Owumi. And I am a hybrid entrepreneur, so I work full time, and I'm also doing career coaching as well. And then we have Ebony as well. So that's just basically what we've gone through. So it's gone through a lot of planning, detail, getting the right venue, and that's why we chose London Metropolitan. We also have the Arsenal Stadium, not just a few minutes away from that, from London Metropolitan on Holloway Road. So after the event, you can go there and have fun. For those of you who are not Arsenal fans, or who are Arsenal fans, doesn't matter. You can just have a look around the area. Thank you, Nana.
Great. So, I mean, I think, like, it would have been great if maybe you would have actually met us halfway, let's say Leeds or Manchester, instead of all the way to London. So it's like almost every good thing, happens in London, and like most of us, we get, I would say left out. But anyway, it's okay. So, how can employers maintain an amazing candidate experience in this virtual world? After the COVID, everything just changed, or like from 3 years ago, things have now changed. But then for employers, how can they maintain an amazing candidate experience in this virtual world?
Okay, what I would say is that I think employers understand, so times have changed. Even though some might, might give many of them give the option of coming into the campus to have your interview, or if you're not able to attend the interview in person, maybe you are unwell, or a child, or someone you're caring for is unwell. I believe an employer can always many of them are flexible, if not all, and can give you the option of having it on Zoom or Teams. So that's the world that we are in now, and there are all sorts of things that they do. Like I remember when I was still looking for a job, then one of the interviews that I attended in one of the universities, they did say they gave us the option of choosing Zoom or Teams. And I at the time I was not very I didn't really know how to use Microsoft Teams, so I opted to use Zoom, because during the pandemic everybody was using Zoom. Even people who had never used the computer before, you didn't have a choice. You had to learn to use Zoom, if especially if you had a GP appointment, or you had something to do, or you needed to speak with family. So many of the employers now, even people for many roles, are encouraging hybrid working. Some of them now, like for example, the business analyst roles are, encouraging remote roles, and maybe show up in the office 1 or 2 days. So things are really changing, even within legal space. As a lawyer from Nigeria, I never thought that it will come to a time whereby a lawyer, a solicitor, or a barrister will be working maybe 2 days from home or 3 days from home. I thought it was impossible, but the pandemic has shown us so many things that we thought that had to happen face to face. You can actually do these things, because I remember myself and my husband were working from at home, both of us, and my daughter was about 2 years old then. I don't know how we managed to do it, but I was still able to teach, and we just found a way of getting her to go through the routine, attending to her, and working full time at the same time. And employers understood. So there are all sorts of things that they're doing to encourage people as well too. So even, for example, even if you're not an expert at using Zoom or Teams, you just need to be familiar with how to use the software, and they're going to be testing, maybe for example, depending on the role you're applying for, your presentation skills or how you perform in the assessment. They're not going to be checking, or are you an expert in using this specific um, technology, Zoom or Teams or whichever platform, unless maybe you're teaching online. And if you're teaching online, of course, you have to know how to use those things. So they are doing quite a lot. And even during interviews, when we have during the pandemic, they would tell us, the interviewers would maybe try to make us feel comfortable, because they knew that most of us were not used to having. I remember my first job interview during the pandemic. It was not, I didn't even understand what happened. It just kept on. I kept leaving the meeting room, and that's just because I didn't know how to use that particular software. So, but they were on, they understood. They called me. The recruiter called me to put me through. How can you, told me what to do. But now, they actually send you the links long before, especially for those who are in who are non-residents, and tell them that maybe schedule a session whereby they can have a test, like we would do, like Nana would do, like and every professional would do, just to check that everything is okay. So those are the ways that they actually make ensure that candidates have an amazing experience, so that you are not stressed as you're having the interview, because that kind of the employer got your back, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
they're good. If you do the job, if you answer the questions, and if you're the best, you will get the job, even if you make a mistake, or if you're not perfect at using the technology. That's all I have to say. Nana, thank you.
great. You know, this virtual experience has come to stay, and here you are having this face to face career festival. So, what should people do in terms of preparation, and also what kind of relevant questions should people actually, have when they attend such festivals, or like such a fair? How should people, uh, I would say, prepare, and also what kind of relevant questions should they ask when they attend such interviews or fairs? Yeah, please.
Okay, so I'll answer in part, and I'll also leave the rest to Irene. So
Okay.
one of the sessions that I will be handling will be the CV, how to structure your CV and your cover letter.
Mhm.
And it's that's take it, I learned that through the hard way. So sometimes, depending on the job you're applying for, it's not necessarily the same CV you're going to apply, and your CV is not copy and paste. And most of the people that CVs that I have seen, so for example, when I've had to be in an interview panel, you can just see from the CV that they've just copied and pasted stuff from the internet. You can't do that if you're applying for a job. Your CV tells a lot about who you are. So for example, I would expect that people who are coming for this event, like those who already bought tickets, they've already sent us their CVs. So by the time we are going through that session, I would expect them to have their CVs already printed and asking questions about, okay, how can I develop this part of my CV? What are the key things that I need to do to make my CV stand out? What are the different things that I need to put in a cover letter? Because these are the only things that the employer is going to see. Once you submit that, maybe for that particular role, 100 people or even thousands of people have applied for that job. So if you don't sell yourself well at that with that CV or cover letter, then you're doing yourself a great injustice, as I would say as a lawyer. So that's one of the things we'll be talking about. And also for those who want to start businesses, I'll leave that to Irene. You can't come for such an event and you just don't have an idea of the business you want to do. You should already have that idea. So I'll give an example. Even though I had not, during the pandemic, I had not worked out details of how exactly midpoint was going to go. I had been postponed. It has always been in my mind for quite a while. I mean, even when I was looking before I got back into academia, I'd always known that this was what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to go about it. So when I started doing it for people free of charge, and people started getting jobs, and people then encouraged me, I then started just making comments like, oh, I really love doing this. I love doing this. And Irene was doing the Nigerian festival. So Irene has always been in the space for quite a long time. I've been, I get all her messages on Ebony ambassadors and things like that. So I knew we were going to work together. I knew that we think alike, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. So when she told me Nigerian festival, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm working full time. I'm teaching Monday to Friday. How am I going to do it? But she kept pushing. And that's why that's the purpose of networking. Because to be honest, if Irene did not push me to go to attend Nigerian festival, there would be no midpoint. Midpoint would have just been in my head that I would do, and it will never happen. So that was it. So she said, no, you can't just be, you need to come for Nigerian festival. You need to get your logo. You need to get your flyer. You need to do this. You need to do that. And within 3 days, I got everything. Because once you have your money, you can get all these things. Got everything. Got the flyer. She was like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just start. Just do something. Just start. When you start, things would flow. And I was surprised. I found myself I can't remember the name of the place, but I just found myself at the Nigerian festival venue. And then, things just changed. So that's it. So I would leave the other bits for Irene to answer regarding the kind of questions people should be looking to ask on the day. Thank you.
Before we pass on, before you pass the baton on to Irene, you were saying, how people should sell themselves. How do we sell ourselves to our employers? How do we do it?
Okay,
Because
so
I think that's where the problem
the problem is okay.
Yeah.
So I would talk about it first from my own perspective as an academic. Okay. And I would leave Irene to talk about the more corporate and the business one. So first of all, as an academic, I coming from Nigeria, I used to hear, this polytechnics, quite a lot of them, people look down on them. So when I moved to the UK and I wanted to get a job, within the colleges, as they're called here, some people told me, no, how can you do that? You have a PhD. And I said, but it's teaching. It doesn't really matter if I'm teaching in, a big university, traditional university, or I'm teaching in a college. As long as I'm changing lives and I'm making a difference, that's all that matters. And I love what I'm doing. So I listened to them, which was a very big mistake. But eventually I found myself there. So by the time I started teaching in colleges, I came across so many people. And that's what widening participation is all about. I met so many people and I learned so many things. I was able to develop myself. I never knew that. I mean, I passed my maths in my GCSE, but I never knew that I could teach financial accounting and management accounting. But because I had also done, I had done work as a company secretary. The college I was working with in Manchester at the time, he said, "But you know how to read accounts, right? You used to be a company secretary. You're the compliance officer, in charge of your church, your charity, and all of that. So therefore, it's not hard. Just use your head, use your brain." And teach them. And he gave me the materials, and I spent the whole night reading, how to cash flow and all of that. And the Monday I had to teach it. So that was it. So, and that was the beginning. So I was able to now start teaching business courses, management courses, and then law as well. So by the time I put on my CV, I'm already selling myself as somebody who can cut across these three different areas. Then in terms of student experience, I go the extra mile for my students. So I have, obviously feedback reports that students have given. My students have gotten jobs in these places and all of that. All of those things go into supporting statements and go as evidence of my teaching practice. So those are the kind of things I'm doing to sell myself. And then also engaging with businesses and social enterprises, things that you do voluntary work that you feel that, oh, I don't get paid for it, so it doesn't matter. It all matters, because that's also engagement to the business community, engaging with, for example, if you're working with Ebony ambassadors, working with Nana Hagen and different organizations as well. Those kind of shows that you can work with different stakeholders. So all of those things, you're using it to sell yourself, because you need to be able to work as a team. It can't just be me, myself, and I. So these are some of the ways. So even though some people might feel that, oh, it took me a longer process to get to where I am today, I don't despise those experiences, because I learned so much, and I was able to meet so many students from different walks of life. I met mature learners, because I never knew that you have people who have 4, 5, 6 children and are going to school full time. I didn't know it was possible, because I was young, and I finished, after finishing my master's was when I got married. And I was seeing all these students in my class, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, like, oh my God, these people are heroes. How on earth are they managing it? Some of them are successful businessmen and women coming back into education. And I learned quite a lot of them. So I was learning from them. I was teaching them, and they were telling me so many things. They were saying, "Oh, Dr. Jenny, okay, yeah, you know the theory, but I did this with my company." So those are some of the things. So with all of that, I've been able to build myself, understand, and understand different cultures. Like, for example, when I was teaching entrepreneurship, I found out that some specific ethnic minorities, the kind of life they live, they support themselves, they encourage themselves, and that's why, for example, they are very successful anywhere they go to as immigrants. And I then started looking into it, and I found that there was actually research supporting that. I would never have known if my student did not mention it in the class to me. So these are
Wow.
some of the things that you have to get on board to sell yourself. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
so if I listen to you carefully, it means all the voluntary things that we do
Mhm.
actually counts to our credit.
Definitely. Yeah.
And the point is, majority of us, we don't like doing this voluntary work thing. So I think I'll leave that one for Irene to throw
Definitely.
more light on it, right? Like in terms of selling ourselves to our employers. Yeah. Irene, please take over.
Thank you, Nana. And sorry for the break in transmission earlier. Um, I will also take it from the aspect of what I intend to do on that day itself. Like, what part am I playing? I will be mentoring a lot of persons that wants to start their businesses, or they are in business and they are struggling. So as I said earlier, this career festival is not just academic alone. We're looking for entrepreneur as well. We want to help entrepreneur to get to the length or the level that they want to go to. I will classify myself as someone that has passed through that journey. And as I said, I crawled to the level I am today, but I will not want anybody to crawl. I just want you to get it right and get it done. And it's possible. So coming to the Career Festival, I will be sharing a lot of, I will be giving a lot of insights on my journey, and also showing you the right path to do things properly. And I'm also available to mentor anyone that wants to go into, I would say, the charity bit of what I'm doing now. You can be a CEO, you can be a director. How can you be what you want to be? Some people wants to go into community activities, but they don't have their own company. They don't even know if they should open a limited or a CIC or a charity. The charity itself has charity incorporated. There are different type of charity that you can open. And yeah, so coming to the career festival, my session will help you to like be on the right path to whatever you want to be, either as an entrepreneur, even if you don't want to go through the charity bits that I am doing at the moment. So yeah, if you say what should they expect, we want people that are still struggling to get things right. There are a lot of mentors that are ready to take them on and to guide them through their paths. I hope I answered the question, Anna.
Yeah, I mean, partly, but I just want to know the kind of questions that would just catch any employer out there attention, because sometimes you just go in there not even knowing what to say, not even know the kind of questions that you can ask, that will even open that door for you. I mean, if there's anything like that, you know what I mean? So in terms of preparation, I mean, how should people prepare, to come and meet the likes of you? Like
I don't think
after this, this career festival, we just want to, transport the same experience. If they should actually go out there and look for a job, the kind of things that they should actually, do to help them secure a job. Yeah.
I would say with the like of Jenny's organization, as the name simplify, she coaches people to get the right job, which will involve rewriting their cover letter, which will involve preparing them for an interview. As she said earlier, it's not about the qualification, it's actually the way you present yourself, which let me not look as if I'm repeating myself, but Midpoint coaching service will help you to get the right job of your choice. As we said earlier, it's just the way you present yourself. So she does one-to-one with any individual who wants to go for an interview, to what you should wear, to how you should sit, to how you should talk, and to how you should present yourself in general. So that is what anyone that is coming to the career festival should expect. You can imagine you've been looking for a job for a long time and it's not forthcoming. You should also sit back and think, what am I not doing right? And Jenny is a good example because she actually, I would say, applied for more than 150 jobs before she got the job of her choice. So with that experience that she's gathered, she'll be able to mentor you to get the right job. So come with a heart that I want to do things differently. I've been doing this and it's not working for me. Yeah, as I said, Midpoint's coaching service, which Jenny is the CEO, will be the best to mentor you towards getting the right job of your choice.
Okay, so it means if anyone, because I think a lot of people are tuning, hoping that maybe Jenny will just open up the box a little bit, just to say, maybe say this, maybe sit like this, dress like this, you know what I mean? So please, viewers out there, I'm trying my best, but it looks like Jenny is, titled and doesn't want to give out anything for free. So maybe if you want, Irene, behave yourself. if you want, to secure your dream job, please, after this interview, do your best to contact Dr. Jenny and also Irene Eribo. And I think, or I believe, she'll be able to help you secure your dream job. Yeah, because I think I've got questions coming in. How do I do it? How do we say it? How do we sit? What do we wear? And, just like I said, they want you to attend the career festival, to get all these information. But all the same, I'll try and see if something will come out of Dr. Jenny's mouth, but we'll see. So, what are the chances that if anybody attends your career, festival, like what are the chances that they might be able to secure a job? What are the chances?
I
Because do
would
you know what?
say,
A lot of people think career festivals, are just a total waste of time. So, what do you say to that? And
Okay, I will just answer. I would
for
I really
for what I've seen,
sorry.
I will give it 80% chance
okay,
of getting a job
mhm,
due to the will I say due to the success story that we've received from Midpoint. So there's 80% that you'll get a job if you attend the career festival. So I will leave it to Dr. Jenny. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Nana is just trying to. She wants us to spill everything. No taster session, Nana. But anyway, I have a lot of respect for you, so I would say a few things. I think one of the key thing is that I've learned as an ethnic minority is that you can't afford to give up. So if you get that first rejection, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel bad. I think I've shed so many tears until I stopped. At the point, I stopped crying. But one thing I realized was that instead of there's this phrase I use, quality versus quantity. So I had those number of rejections, I believe, because I was just applying. So every week, like 4 or 5 applications, just applying, just sending my CV. Support, whether the supporting statement met or the essential criteria or desirable criteria, I didn't care. It was like I was trying to hit that target. And therefore I had it was obvious I was definitely going to have that because they have so many applications they are going through, and if yours does not stand out, then they're not going to waste their time to look at it. So we would want people to, when they're coming in for the UK Career Festival, they are thinking about these things, because you might even find out that you are even in the wrong career, because these days it's not what you study that actually is what you're going to end up with. You might actually maybe you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, so you've been going about things the wrong way. So at the end, during the networking launch, that's when you're supposed to be asking questions. You're not just supposed to be eating, because obviously lunch will be served, but as you're eating your lunch, you are speaking to people, finding out. For example, as a former international student, for me it was a very stressful time, because I was thinking about, okay, how was I going to get my visa sponsorship? So if you're an international student, you already know that you have a limited time to be in the country. So right from the first day you come into the UK, you're supposed to start thinking about the plan, your end game. What do I want to do? It's not just, oh, I came to study an LLM, and when I finish the LLM, I'll get a job. It doesn't work that way. So some people do masters and maybe LLM, and they move into social work, or they move into something else, or they move into data science. So different things. So you might find that you're in the wrong field and you need to change, or you might even want to speak to people like Irene. You want to speak to people like David Wumi or Dr. Lucy G. Dr. Lucy G was an economist. So I mean, he's still using his experience because he's CFO, and he founded a company with his friend. So that's why you might actually be an entrepreneur, but you're going about things in the wrong way. So we expect that if you have uncertainty about the future of your career or your business, when you come for the UK Career Festival, things will become clearer, and you begin to think about, okay, so like one of the speakers, Obina Okoye, if I remember correctly, he attended one of the free events that I did, and he's a data science person, and his visa was sponsored. So just from that event that he attended, I can't even remember. I think it was during the pandemic I did the event, and I said a few things that if you're looking for sponsorship, you just expect an employer to sponsor your visa. You don't have work experience, you've not done anything. You're looking for a job that will pay you all the time. Meanwhile, you have maybe 5 6 hours every day that you can volunteer with Ebony Ambassadors, or you can volunteer with your local church or your local mosque or anything. But you just sit at home and you think that if I get a distinction, I'll get the job. No, unless you are going through a graduate route. So another way is there are organizations that do graduate routes, and you don't need much experience for that. But even those routes are also very competitive as well too. You might have to do assessment tests, English test, maths test, and all of this. So there is no easy way around these things. You need to be the one to put the work. So for example, at Midpoint, we're not going to write your CVs and cover letters for you. You're going to write them yourself, and then we'll give you feedback. We'll give you the pointers on what you need to change. So your supporting statement, you're going to write it yourself, and then we will give you feedback. But if you it's not going to fall from the heavens. You need to be passionate about your career. So if you know me like Irene does, I'm very passionate, and I'm very, even with my PhD and all of that, I'm still learning. I learn a lot every day from Irene. You have to be humble and realize that you don't know everything. I'm learning from Nana. I'm learning from everybody. Even my daughter, I'm learning from her. So you have to have that learning. Don't feel entitled that the employer needs to give you a job. You need to convince the employer that I need the job. I am the best candidate for that job. So when I go for interviews, I don't go for interviews because I feel, I just want to change my job or something. No, I'm going there because I know that any question they ask me, I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to answer the question. I know where I want to be in 5 years' time. I know where I want to be in 10 years' time. If you ask Irene as a business person, she already knows where she wants to be in 5 years' time. She doesn't have to think about it. That is the level you're supposed to get. If you can't do that for the job you want to apply for, then you're wasting your time. You are possibly in the wrong field, or either that, or maybe you have what we call the imposter syndrome, whereby you feel less of yourself. And we're going to be doing that as well too. The steps and the strategies you need to take. We have a role play on that you need to take to make sure that you don't undersell yourself and you actually do what you want to do. So if you read a business, if you have an MBA, then you need to be following that path and not deviating from it, unless, for example, maybe you want to become an entrepreneur. And I will
Wow.
leave the rest to Irene before I speak too much. Thank you, Nana.
Do you know what? You keep repeating this imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people really do not even understand what that term means. If you could please elaborate on that, especially when you go for interviews and you find yourself in that. What does that mean? Imposter
Okay.
syndrome.
Okay, so that basically is when you feel less of whom you are. So, if you, for
Mhm.
example, you would have people who have 2 or 3 master's degree, but when you look at the job they're doing, it's not. Sometimes you do a job not necessarily because you don't have the experience. Not necessarily because you want that job per se, or that's your career, but you want to get some experience. That's
Yeah.
understandable. But when you are 2, 3 years in a particular role, that that when you look at your career plan, that is far away from that. It's most likely a chance that you do have that syndrome, and that's because you're selling yourself short. You don't believe in yourself. So, for example, I remember when I was applying for jobs, then I would I'm not lying, but I would be shortlisted for an interview, start preparing for the job, and then 2 days before, I'll just tell my husband I'm withdrawing the application. I'll be like, "What?" You'll be like, "What's going on? What's happening?" I'm like, "I don't think I can do it." And the money, I just come up with some flimsy reasons. The money is not enough, or they will say, "But you're looking for a job. How can you be withdrawing your application?" Those are signs of low self-esteem, not believing in myself, or maybe I'll go for an interview and I don't see a black person there and I just freeze. And I'm like, I can't answer any question. Why should I be in such a position? Why should I feel less of who I am? I have all the degrees, I have all the qualifications, I have experience. So what is the problem? And that was what the career coach told me. She had to be stern with me. And coming from a culture whereby people respect you, imagine me in my early 30s being spoken to by a 22-year-old girl and said, "Jenny, don't come back here if you can't tell me that you have a job. You have all the experience. You are getting shortlisted for interviews. Why can't you answer the questions? Why are you not getting the job? Something is wrong." And that was how she told me about the imposter syndrome. So I read about it, and I said, okay, I do have this thing. So I started practicing in front of the mirror. And that was why we have what we call we do interview prep. So I started practicing even till now. Like, for example, before I came for this, just to make myself feel to try to encourage myself that I can do it. So I start speaking to myself in front of the mirror. I video myself the questions. So if I look at the job description, I can most likely the interviewers are not going to prepare the questions, from outer space. Every possible question I'm going to ask you is going to come from the job description and from the company. So I create like maybe 50, 60 questions and I start practicing. I start asking myself so that to build my confidence, even if they don't ask me such a question, at least I am confident, I'm comfortable. So it looks strange. I could be walking on the road and I'm practicing questions, and people are looking at me, what's wrong with this
Oh,
lady? But
wow.
that was how it was able to. So I was able to get over that low self-esteem and feeling less.
Mhm.
So the first interview, one of the interviews I went for, and I saw all 3 women in the interview. Wow, that was it, because I was in my comfort zone and 2 of them were blacks. And I was like, okay, and for it was just unbelievable. But I was just impressed. I said, oh, wow. I said, things are changing, times are changing. But regardless of the ethnicity or whoever is in that interview, I can speak to myself, maybe because of my legal training that, I'm glad I had it. But even then, I still had low self-esteem. So I had to tell myself, sometimes that thought comes up. Even now, I tell myself, no, I can do it. If someone can do it, then I can do it. Then I can do it. So you have to keep telling yourself that I need to practice in front of the mirror, take yourself pictures, video yourself, send it to somebody to have a look. So even at this, I have a team of people. Even if I want to do something, I would get them to give me feedback because I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm still learning every single day. So that's just basically it's, you need to always practice. You need to believe in yourself and stop selling yourself short. And that's what the imposter syndrome is all about. When you see people with all the qualifications settling for less. Thank you, Nana.
Wow. Irene, is there anything that you want to add to it, please?
I will actually say that you get the imposter syndrome not only because you're underselling yourself, it's also because you're not prepared. And with the likes of Jenny, will help you to prepare yourself for an interview, to be more confident about what you're going for and to the job position that you're aiming to get. Some people look at the salary or the pay, they feel like, I think this is a bit high. Let me go for the lower one and maybe build my um, uh, step by step to get into that higher pay. But it doesn't really go that way all the time. If you have all the qualification, why not? Why not go for that job? So I would say we should not undersell ourselves. And I've also been in a platform where they were speaking about how people undersell themselves, which still ties to the imposter syndrome that Jenny is talking about. Be proud about what you've achieved. Like I am among the people that sing. I sing my praise. So let's all cultivate the habit of being proud of what we've achieved. If you're opportuned to stand in front of someone and they said, "Why should we give you this job?" You should count all you've done. I'll go back to saying I love charitable work. I've done a lot of charity work, so which I can be very proud of and boast of. And I know that people with our color or minority, they don't see need of volunteering. So to what we are doing at the moment, which is still paying off, is something that you should be proud of. As Jenny said earlier, if you don't have anything doing or you have some few time, volunteer that time and it will count to your achievements. So when you go out for an interview, you could say, I helped these people, I was part of this team, I joined this. And that is the reason when I speak with a lot of confidence because I know what I've done in the community as well. So for us to build that confidence to stand anywhere, even if you are new into the system in terms of not having that job experience, volunteering can give you that experience. Ebony Ambassador is there. Nana Hagan Inside View is there. Career Midpoint Career
Points.
Coach is there. And there are other opportunities or there are other organizations that we can link you to for you to volunteer. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of your time will go a long way. And that will also add to your CV because people want to see what you have done for them to entrust you with other responsibility. Yeah, so that's what I'll have to say on the imposter syndrome.
Wow. So if you're watching us, it's good to have the qualifications, but the qualifications alone is not enough. So if you want to pitch yourself high, if you want to stand tall among the thousands, make sure you do something tangible, something that you can, sell, something that you can boast of, for you to be seen, among the peers. So I'm so happy that you've mentioned this volunteering thing because I don't think it's something that we want to hear because once we come here, we are so ready to get the pound actually coming in. So if you're a young girl or young boy out there, this is one of the routes or these, out of the many routes, it's one of the many routes that you can take, to sell yourself to your employer. So please take note. Yeah. And to other people that also want to know the benefits or the pros and cons of career festival or any job fair, if you can actually educate us on that. If you can actually, like educate us on the advantages and the disadvantages of any job fair.
I will say
Yeah.
some, and I will leave the floor to Dr. Jenny. They
Okay.
say your network is your net worth. So I before the virtual way of life coming to being, face to face has been what we all know, which is still not out of the game. So coming to meet people face to face and get to hear their story and get them to mentor you is different from saying they should do it online. So we're saying that coming out to network with like minds or to get to meet people that will hold you by your hands to your next level is very important. The reason why we want everyone to come to the career festival is for them to be able to get to the next level that they want to get to. And it will not happen by sitting at home. You need to go out. And the more you go out, the more you speak to people, from just a conversation, it will open you up to different opportunity. So for me, that's the reason why I want everyone to attend this career festival. Is first of its kind of in our own community, and
Sure.
I
Sure.
personally is looking forward to it. Through this career festival, I heard about KTP, which is KTP, Knowledge Transfer Partnership. I've never
Mm-hmm.
heard about the word before. If it's not from the conversation I'm having with Dr. Jenny, I won't know about that. And I'm working towards putting my organization forth to that program. But if you don't come out, if you don't speak to people, you will not know. And we have a speaker who will be speaking on that topic, KTP, Knowledge Transfer Partnership. I won't spill the milk or let the cat out of the bag. But if you come to the festival, you understand the opportunities that are there for us. So over to you, Jenny.
Oh, thank you for that, Irene. Irene, you've already spilled some things. Me and you are going to see in camera. Anyway, so that's it. So like I would say, like even I, I like I say, you learn a lot. I'm going to be learning from Dr. Lucy G. Sonia. I'm going to be learning from David Iwumi. I'm also going to be learning from Irene as well on the day, because I'm an academic that found myself somehow in business. So I am an expert when it comes to academia, but I'm also learning quite a lot as well too from with Irene. That's why if I didn't speak out, if I didn't partner with her, we will not have the UK Career Festival. And that's one thing I've realized within our ethnic minority community. Sometimes we want to do me, myself, and I. If you want to, for example, to have a company that is making over maybe £1 million a month or something, it's not going to come. The money is not going to come from your family and friends. You will meet these people at events, or you will meet somebody that knows somebody that can get you that job or link you to that investor, or how to even do a business plan, what to do about it. Some people just have that idea of a business, or like I would always say, some people are still in the jollof rice kind of mentality, whereby I want to sell jollof rice in maybe Peckham or in Greenwich or something. That is good, but you need to move from that aspect to saying I want to buy those buildings and sell my jollof rice in them. So people like Irene, Dr. Lucigi, and others will be discussing things about that. And also at this career festival, you'll also learn about, because we have one of the speakers, Chinedu Nevo. So he's one of my mentees, and he was the first midpoint client that I had. And I met him online during the pandemic. I think I just met him face to face about a few weeks ago, and he got a full PhD scholarship. And I think I was the one that even sent him the link. So that was, obviously during the pandemic period, but we were meeting. So even though we were having writing sessions, we were discussing, encouraging ourselves. So we were not in a face-to-face kind of environment, but we were meeting regularly Monday to Friday on one of the professors' platform. So kind of how he was able, if he just stayed in his room and said, oh, pandemic, COVID-19 is everywhere, and let me relax, let me sleep, he would not be in the United Kingdom now. So you would meet people, get to know about, you want to do your master's, you want to do your PhD, or you want to do a professional qualification, how can you apply for funding? You meet people like Irene who have applied for over £180,000. That's quite a lot of, and I'm sure Irene is very humble. She doesn't like to say much about herself. But one thing I know is that at these career festivals, when you leave them, especially when you come to our UK Career Festival, one of its kind, you would not leave the same, because you now have a better understanding of what you want to be. Or if you are in the wrong field, by the end of that event, you now need to take a step back and think about what you need to do. So for example, if you need to diversify, like if I did not get the volunteer experience, and when I came to the UK, the church that I was fellowshipping with, my pastor was hyping me and pushing me and saying, oh, you went to Nigerian law school, you can do it, you can do finance. I was like, I don't know how to do all these things. But everywhere I went to, I just found out that every church that I worshiped at, they were always pushing me to finance. And if a friend was saying it the other day, a few weeks back, that, Jenny, you need to think about this. Why is everybody always pushing you to money? And I just laughed. I said, maybe because I'm supposed to be making a lot of money, but that's just by the way. But she were always pushing me there, and that was a lot of experience. So that was why when the dean of the college saw that on my CV, he said, how can you then tell me that you can't teach financial accounting? I was like, I'm a lawyer, I can't teach it. He said, of course you can teach it. You have already been doing it. And that was it. But if I did not come out, if I didn't speak to people, I'll not be. So those are some of the I can't really think of any disadvantage for the only thing is that maybe you'll be tired at the end of the event, but tired is good, because you can go back and think about your life and your future. And I'll just end with this before I pass over to Nana. One of the mistakes that I made was that I was doing my research and I was zoned in. I was just thinking, I get a PhD, I get a £60,000 job, and I'll be making all the money. And I did not know about the industry. So by the time I finished and I couldn't get a teaching job, I did not even know that I knew that I could work in the civil service. I thought it was only British people that could work in the civil service. And someone told me, who told you that? Did you even look at the job? Did you even go to the website? And I went to the website. I said, oh, Commonwealth citizen. Nigerians come and say, oh my God. And I've been seeing all these applications. I did not even know. That's the problem with ignorance. If you don't know it, it can almost destroy your life completely. And that was how I now got into it. And then they started telling me about how to do civil service behaviors, I did not even know how to do that. I didn't even know how to give examples, how to show that I did situation, task, action, and result. I didn't know, I had no clue. But all of these sessions, they were doing them in the university. They were career events. I was not going for them. And that's the importance of attending these events. I just felt I get the degree, get good grade, and get a good job, but I found out the hard way, but thankfully I was able to get back on track. So I'm just going to keep quiet now and just hand over to Nana and Irene.
Wow. You know what? I'm so impressed that you've turned your mistakes into something that you can now, talk, proudly about it, and also share, that kind of experience to help others, because someone would have kept quiet and, just actually keep it to him or herself. But here you are, making a career, or, just helping others, wanting to make life a bit, shorter, for them. So on that one, I would say, God richly bless you for making lives better for a lot of people. So to the one out there, especially if you're a student and you're still on campus, please make sure, if you find yourself, or if you see any job fairs being done on campus, please run and attend. Just be a part of it. At least just go and have a look at what actually goes on, like in such places. At least just go there, and be educated. It might help you in the long run. And also to anyone out there, we are bringing UK Career Festival to our doorstep. Please, if you happen to be in London, Manchester, Leeds, Bradford, anything, like anywhere, sorry, you can all travel and be a part of this festival. And I think we all learn a lot.
Right.
I'm trying to get more information from Dr.
Carry
Jenny,
the
but I
bag.
can
Go.
tell that
Close the door for me. Carry the
she's
bag
just
and go.
trying to make everything
Go. Close the door.
professional. So that's okay. Um, you were saying something, so um just before we go, I'll just ask you to talk to that person that has actually gone for several interviews. Not everybody has got that kind of patience, that kind of you know tenacity, or the grace, to be able to hold themselves, you know just like you have done. So I just want you to speak to that young girl or to that young woman who's who has actually attended a lot of interviews and hasn't been successful, and like things that what, enough is enough, I'll just settle for anything. What can you say to that person to have that change of mind and say that what, I will try again and see how things will pan out? Dr. Jenny, please.
Thank you very much, Nana. So, and the first thing I would say is that I think you need to count your blessings first. The fact that you are even being shortlisted for interviews means that you have something to offer. At first, I was not even shortlisted for any interview at all. So it was really, really sad. And the fact that I was on visa at the time was really concerning, which we expect that most of the people who will be attending UK Career Festival will be thinking about that. Either they will be on student visa or post-study visa or planning to change to the skilled worker visa. So you can't, for me, I knew that I couldn't afford to give up. So there was an option. Yes, I could go back to Nigeria. That was an option that I at the point I had to come to that resolution that if I go back to Nigeria, it doesn't mean I'm a failure, because I'll have my PhD and I'll be able to get a job teaching in university, or I could start my own college or something like that. So that was something that I wrote down. So I had a diary where I used to pour out my heart to, and then I started speaking to people, because I'm this kind of person that I like to, even though I talk quite a lot, I can be very private when it comes to things regarding my life and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I just a lot with people, but I can hide some things. But I learned that the hard way, that if you don't speak to somebody, you just find that you could fall into depression, and that could just take you to an extreme that you don't even want to go through. So you need to speak to somebody, get somebody trustworthy. And
Mhm.
I had people around me that were even willing to help me, to support me. But in some ways, I was pushing them away. And they were reaching out to help me, but I kept pushing them away. So I find it hard to believe that there's nobody around you that you can speak to. There has to be somebody. Or even if there's nobody, then make a friend that you can speak to. But you can't afford to give up, because if you give up, then that's just the end. If you give up, then there's no life. So you need to keep pushing yourself, because you might have somebody, like for example, now if I didn't have Irene to push me to attend Nigerian festival, I would not even have a banner. I won't have a logo. I won't have anything. I'll
Mhm.
just be doing midpoints, just like that. But that was it. I spoke. I said something that, oh, this is what I'm doing. I said, I will come for a Nigerian festival. And like we do, like our people do, I had the fee. And she was like, it's affordable. And I was trying to price. And she said, no, 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 madam, don't price. Just pay and come for the events. So those are the things. But if you don't speak to people, you would not be able to get over that. So there's a learning process. So for example, I knew that the people I spoke to said, okay, you've not gotten a teaching job yet, but you have transferable skills. You can work in the civil service. While you're working in the civil service, if an interview comes up for a teaching role, you can go for it. After all, you have your Nigerian experience. I didn't even know that my Nigerian experience, I could use it on my CV. And that is speaking to people. If I didn't speak to people, I would not have known. I would have felt I don't have any UK experience and that is it. But I spoke to people. And then while I was working in the civil service, an opportunity came to work one day a week at one of the colleges in Manchester. So I was doing Monday to Thursday in the civil service and Friday at the college, because I didn't want to break my teaching experience. So by Friday, 6 p.m., when I'm taking the train from Manchester home, I'm completely out. I have to set alarm on my phone to wake me up so I don't miss my stop. But that was it. So by the time the opportunity came, I was now ready. to now apply. And I had the civil service experience on my CV, and I had a teaching experience on my CV, and I was able to get the job. But if I just gave up and said, okay, I can't get the teaching job, that's it, I'm not going to do anything, it's that or nothing. So you have to at least do something, because bills have to be paid. We're in the UK,
Yeah.
nobody's going
Yeah.
to pay your bills. International student, I had no recourse to public funds. So I knew that it's either I took the civil service job, or I was not going to be able to pay rent. So those were the decisions I had to make. And it was a good job. It was a graduate role. It was a policy advisor role. So by the time I got into it, I realized that what exactly was my problem? Why was I dilly-dallying about it? I could have gotten something earlier, but I was like teaching or nothing. So those are the kind of decisions you have to make. So please don't give up. Get someone to speak to. And nowadays, there are welfare coaches, there are well-being organizations that can help you. There are charities. So even if you don't have any family here, like myself, apart from my husband, I didn't have any family or anybody that I could speak to apart from people in church. But there are also charities that can help you. There are people like Irene that do a lot of skills development that can help you and that can work with you. She needs so many volunteers. Why don't you take the step today, volunteer with my organization, volunteer with Irene, and do something while you are in the waiting period to get that job. But please don't give up. I'm very sure that as long as you hang in there, you'll get your dream job. Thank you.
Wonderful. Dr. Jenny, before you go, because I'm just on your case, and also Irene, there's that belief that when we actually come here, we just settle for anything. So we have a lot of educated people, masters, PhDs, and whatever. I understand the fact that actually bills needs to be paid and stuff like that. You need to actually survive before you start living. But what kind? Because it looks like this cycle that we just come here and then we just settle for anything. We don't want to aspire. We don't we don't want to actually go up, the job ladder, the high end jobs, the high, So it's like we just settle for anything. What can we do to reverse this kind of mindset? What can we do to change this whole thing so that we can all, start, applying for these high end jobs? Is there anything that you can educate us on? I mean, what can we do to start applying for all these high end jobs? What can we do? Or what kind of advice can you give to us? Irene, Dr. Jenny, any of you can take it, please.
I think I'll allow
Dr.
Irene to speak first if I see
Okay,
some.
Irene, yeah.
No, I think the question is for Jenny. Reason being that she's an academician and for her experience as well. When it comes to talking about entrepreneurship, talking about seeking for funding, I think I'm in the best position to answer that question. But I will answer the question that you asked Jenny before in terms of people not giving up. I personally do not take no for an answer. So when you say no, I come back again to like ask for the same thing but differently. And also, if they said if a door closes, another door can open. So in my own field where we write funding, and it's through funding that we run all our activities. And that does not mean that when I write a particular fund or we put in for any funding, it goes straight away. We might have written like 15, 20 and one goes through. And we might have written 20, 30 and none goes through. So what I want to say is that don't give up. And when it comes to funding application, there's a lot that needs to be put in. There's a lot that you need to do. There's a lot of waiting. And during that waiting period, what are you doing? And it still boils down to saying you need to volunteer. You need to be busy in your waiting period. So in terms of your last question that you asked, I think Jenny, Dr. Jenny is the right person to answer the question. So over to you, Dr. Jenny.
Oh, thank you, Nana and Irene. So I think for the first thing I would say, I understand that because I have been in that space before, whereby bills have to be paid. So for me, I had kind of like a good experience because even though I had a couple of rejections, I still got a good job with the civil service. But in terms of changing that mindset, we need to engage. We need to speak in these events like the UK events, we have UK Career Festival, and also in the online forums and every opportunity that we have. Because if we don't encourage ourselves, specifically, I'm speaking as an ethnic minority, we would not achieve a lot. So just like myself and Irene, we are passionate about education, about skills, about training. People like us need to change that rhetoric of ethnic minorities settling for less. So even though you have a job to pay the bills, that's not your future. You need to have a plan. You need to have a career plan. You need to have, steps of what you need to do to get to where you want to be. So I'll give an example. There's been an influx of the people applying for the care visa. So people do those applications. I mean, that's a career path. People go to university, study health and social care. But if you want to become a social worker, to the best of my knowledge, you also need care work experience or working with people with maybe learning disabilities to be able to even put together that student application to get that job as a social worker, because you're going to be working with different people from all walks of life. It's not about you reading a law degree. They're going to be looking at, do you have the experience before they can even give you that admission. So when I came to the UK, social work was anybody could do social work, but even now, the admission process is really, really tight. So you need to think about where you want to be. So whichever job that you are applying for, even if it's not what you want to do, but you still need to give it your best, because you're going to request a reference from them. And if you just see it as paying the bills, then you're not really going to do your best in that job. So we need to change the mindset of, I have something I can pay the bills, but I want more. And this is the more that I want. But that more you want, it's in your head. It needs to come down on paper. You need to write it down. You need to speak to somebody. And these are the conversations you have with people when you leave the comfort of your room. We have people who are traveling from West Yorkshire, Leeds, Huddersfield, coming to the UK Career Festival, not because they don't have other things to do, but they've come to a point in their life where they feel, okay, I've been doing this, it's not working. I think it's time to try something different. So these are the things, because until we have those conversations as ethnic minorities, we would always be settling. So I'll give an example. When I used to apply, I was in civil service, apply for roles. Sometimes they'll put the positions, one job, two job. When I see the one job, I'll just decide that I'm not applying for the job, because I'm like, what's the chance I'm going to even be shortlisted? After all, I'm black anyway. And then one of the jobs, one of the interviews I went for, I met a security man. It was one of these courtroom jobs, legal jobs I applied for. And I just had that conversation with him. And he said, but why he didn't even have the degrees I had. He said, but why do you do that? How do you know that you would not be the one that will get the job? And from that discussion with the security guard, I decided that from that day, whether it's one person, one role, I would apply for it. And a couple of them that were one positions, I got them. Some of them, I was the second on the list, because if you have the civil service, there's a list. They could have a reserve list. If somebody turns down the job, they go back to the list and pick the next person. So when you see the one position and you say, oh no, there's no point, you are even doing yourself a great injustice. So these are some of the things and the mentality and the mindsets that we have, and until you only get over them when you speak to people, because you don't even know. Like, if I didn't have that conversation with the security guard, I would not even know that was what I was doing. So it's in these spaces like Nana Hagen has given us the opportunity that we have these conversations and we change the mindset. Until we keep having these conversations, unfortunately, Nana, things will be the same. They're not going to change. People will settle for less. People will just be thinking about paying the bills, or just get to it. It's okay, obviously, get a skilled work job, get it, but as we say in Nigeria, jackpa. But after you jackpa, what is the next thing? Create a new vision, and that's what you need to do. I'll leave it to you, Nana, to take over.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you so much. I've seen a lot of people sending in their comments, their questions, but unfortunately, tonight I'm just using my phone, so I'll not be able to read your questions. My other gadget has given up on me, my laptop. So tonight, please forgive me. I might not be able to read your questions, but I know that I'll try and forward, after this interview, I'll try and let Dr. Jenny or Irene answer some of your concerns. Yeah. So we've come, to the end of our discussion. I think I left a question out that is your target audience and also I want you to sell UK Career Festival, the first of its kind. I want you to sell this to the whole world and why people should attend this, this interview. Yeah.
Let me go before Dr. Jenny.
Yeah.
I have many reasons why I want you to come to UK Career Festival, and one will be for you to change your level. When I mean change your
Change your level. I
level,
like that one. Thank you.
let me
I like that
explain
one.
the meaning of change your level. Like for those that wish to be an entrepreneur, you need to know how you need to be that entrepreneur in the UK and be successful. And I will tag myself as a successful entrepreneur here in the UK. I'm a minority, as some of
Wonderful.
you listening to
Wonderful.
us as well will be minority. I will want to hold you by hand through the path that you want to embark on. So for that reason, I would think I will be one of your best mentor. So come to UK Career Festival. We are not mentoring anyone aside those coming to the Career Festival. We are what I say, we have a kind of rota where we're giving different person to suit who needs to mentor them. So I will be taking some mentees, sorry, same with Dr. Jenny and other of the speakers. We have 5 speakers. And also, reason why I want you to come to the Career Festival is for those that are in the job that they don't want to be in and they don't know how to get to the next level of their career. Midpoint Coaching Service is the best people to be with, and she will be taking many to mentor as well. And the first thing she will tell you, send me your CV, send me your cover letter. And that has always been a problem for you not getting your dream job. And I'll repeat my statement, your network is your net worth. You'll be networking with like minds when you come to Career Festival. People that are there and they are willing to hold your hands to get there as well. So there's no place to be than UK Career Festival. It's a ticket event, so the ticket is £120, and we're giving it today for £100. If you get your ticket today, tomorrow, you mention the inside view, you will get it for £100. And we'll be giving 2 free tickets to Nana for inviting us to her platform. She
Oh,
decides
thank
who to give
you.
the ticket to. So that's all I have to say today. And I want to appreciate you, Nana, for what you do as well for the community. Nana is someone that I appreciate so much. She's also very selfless when it comes to community service. She will go extra mile to do that, to help anyone that needs that help. So once again, Nana, I want to say thank you. We appreciate you. So over to Dr. Jenny.
Thank you so much, Irene.
Welcome.
Wow. Irene, you've said everything. I don't think I have anything else to say, but I'll just say this. If you have been applying for jobs for 6 months and above and you have not gotten anything, you've not been shortlisted at all, or you've gone for interviews and you've not heard back from them, then the UK Career Festival is the place to be. If you're thinking about what do I need to do after I got it for my studies, you have no clear direction of what to go, of what to do, who to speak to, where to go, how to go about job application process, the UK Career Festival is the place to be. If you're thinking about, okay, I think I want to become an entrepreneur, I don't know how to write my business plan, I don't know what kind of business to do, or I'm thinking about setting up a charity, I don't know how to go about it, the UK Career Festival is the place to be. If you're thinking about how do I navigate this terrain in terms of resilience, how do I know? Okay, so I'm not sure where I fit in terms of my career. I'm looking for skilled work visa opportunities. I'm not sure which roles I can apply for with my skill sets. The UK Career Festival is the place to be. So we have people who are going to be talking about the KTP Associates role, which is a sponsored role, and then we also have the data science role. So these are roles whereby you can get the skilled visa. And also we're going to be talking also about the global talent visa, and one of our coaches recently got that visa. So something that you need to be thinking about. And if you get the global talent visa, it's a fast track rather, I beg your pardon, to get the your indefinite leave to remain, which is depending on the body that endorses your visa, you get it in 3 years, unlike the skilled visa, which is 5 years. So if you want to have all the, and you have any questions, so we have some people who already have businesses and are thinking about how to expand their businesses. They are also going to be coming to the UK Career Festival, and you can have one-to-one discussions with our in-house lawyer, Chidi Akuna, about immigration, about questions about work visas, any question and you have. And I'm sure if you decide after the event to use her services, because of myself and Irene, and obviously also because of Nana Hagen, she'll definitely give you a discount and a reasonable price. So please, if you have all these questions, you are not sure, then UK Career Festival is the place to be. And we are looking forward. We're ready for you. We are good to go. And we just want you to show up. A number of people, so many people are buying the tickets. You don't want to get onto the waiting list, because that will not be good for you. So make up your mind today and make that deal. Thank you.
Wow. I am super impressed with UK Career Festival. And I'm so happy to have my name, my brand, and everything that I stand for, a part of this. I think you've just blown me away by just giving me 2 tickets. I'm thinking, what? Do you know what? I'm so proud of you, and to anyone that has tuning tonight, to be a part of this discussion. I do not take you for granted at all, especially with all this technical, hitches here and there. You've still managed to stay, with us. I do appreciate you so, so much. To the young man or to the young girl that is at their crossroads and do not know what to do with their lives. Today, I recommend UK Career Festival for you. You just give it, at least the last shot. And trust me, you come back testifying that, you know what, it was worth every bit of my time, every bit of my money and everything. Because, having listened to Dr. Jenny and also listened to Irene, you cannot go wrong. And also, I've just looked at the billboard, and these are super speakers that will just help transform your life and also open, the world to you in a different dimension altogether. So I just want to say that to the young boy or to the young girl out there that does not actually, with all your degrees and whatever, that does not know what to do with that. I just want you to, just tell us something. Just have a plan. Just ask yourself, where do you want to be in the next 2 to 5 years? And also believe in yourself. 1 no or 2 no's does not mean the world has come to an end. When you receive that letter through the post saying no, just dust yourself. Pick up the pieces and start all over again. At least Dr. Jenny has shared her story. She received over 150 no's. I don't know how she managed to, brave herself through this or that one, I don't know. But that is why she's here today. That is why, she's now a guru. That's why she's able to stand tall and say, you know what, I can help you. I can hold your hand to, like for you to be able to say that, you know what, I've also made it. And just like Irene said, they want to change levels. They want to change the lives of, the minority. Enough of the mediocre. You know what I mean? Let us now start as, aiming, the 6-figure, salaries here and there. You know what I mean? Let us now change our stories. Let us show to our children that, it is possible. We can do it. We can do it. Because if my mom was able to do it, yes, I can do it too. We owe that to the next generation. We owe that to the next generation. So wherever you find yourself, 26, am I right? Is the date right? Is it 25th or 26th?
22nd.
22nd.
It's
Okay,
the second. It's
22nd.
on Saturday. This
Okay, so
coming
yes.
Saturday.
Yes, so 22nd, next Saturday, wherever you find yourself, don't just waste your time. Let's all go to London. Let's I think the flyer will be on the pages, like on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. Please look for UK Career Festival, the first of its kind. This one is targeted towards the minority.
True.
So we cannot have any more excuses. Let us make use of this career festival. And trust me, we'll have a lot, at least we can do this. We show our children, how it's done. And in the long run, the knife crimes, the domestic abuse, and all these things that we see in our community, trust me, it will diminish. It will diminish. Because if a single parent is empowered, is able to look after themselves, trust me, she'll be able to, do most of these things, be able to look after the children well. It will go a long way to help our community. So this one is for us. So please let us embrace it and make UK Career Festival, the best and also the first of its kind. Let us, make it, to happen. Also, let us make sure UK Career Festival stays, and it will grow from this year to next year, and then we'll have more speakers, and also to empower and also educate and also enlighten more people in our community. So I'll say that from 22nd, the veil is now off. We are now going to see how it is done. We are now going to be educated, and trust me, we'll be coming in full flight. So let us all be ready and be empowered. So tonight, thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for coming, onto my show to educate, all of us, and also to everyone that has stayed till now. Thank you. So continue to enjoy your weekend. Once again, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Nana.
Thank you, Nana,
Thank you
for
for
having
inviting us. We really appreciate you.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye there.